My beloved child, stop what you're doing right now and hear me. I'm speaking directly into the storm you've been standing in for so long. You've carried dreams that looked like they were forgotten by everyone, including yourself. But I never let them go. I held them in my hands when you were too tired to even pray for them again. I have watched you in the quiet, when no one saw the tears that soaked your pillow, when you looked around and felt invisible, unheard, unseen. But not for a moment did I turn my eyes from you. I was near when you doubted whether I had abandoned you. I was closer when you felt furthest away. And now, the hour that was hidden in mystery is being revealed. It's finally your turn. Heaven has been preparing for this exact moment. There has been movement in the spirit realm. Angels have been dispatched with your name written in radiant glory. You thought you missed your chance, but you didn't miss anything. I was simply holding it until the time was ripe. And beloved, it is ripe now. This is the moment I whispered about in your dreams, the moment you hoped for but were afraid to fully believe in. The season of divine silence is ending with a roar of fulfillment. The cloud that hovered over you is lifting because the sun has stepped into your situation. I declare to you, not with suggestion but with absolute certainty, that your waiting has activated a release from heaven that cannot be reversed. You didn't imagine it. You didn't make it up. What you've carried in your heart all this time was planted there by me, and I am now watering it with my spirit. The seed of promise is bursting forth because this soil has been tested by storms, and it has endured. You, my child, have endured. And now it's your turn. Not someone else's, not someday far off now. That shift you've been sensing. It wasn't false hope. It was me getting closer to the reveal. I have whispered your name in places where decisions are being made. I have entered rooms you haven't walked into yet. I have aligned people, events, and moments to come crashing into this hour with precision that only I could orchestrate. And I did it for you. I'm not waiting for your perfection. I'm moving because of your surrender. You kept showing up when no one applauded. You kept believing when no one clapped. You held on when others let go. And now I'm holding open the door that no enemy can close. I'm declaring this hour as holy because it marks the release of what I've long promised. The words spoken over your life, the visions you tucked away, the promises that seemed distant, they are being fulfilled now. You're not too late. You're not disqualified. You're not forgotten. You are chosen, and your name is being called in heaven's courts. The trumpet is sounding in the spirit, and it's echoing through the veil. What you've waited for in silence is no longer delayed. It's whispering back to you. I'm here. Let that sink in. What once ignored you is now chasing you down. What once resisted you is now yielding. What once broke you is now being rebuilt. What once wounded you is now being healed. And I, the Lord your God, am not speaking this with hesitation. I am declaring it with fire. The fire that burned in your bones when you wanted to give up. That was me keeping you alive for this moment. Because, child, if you had stopped then, you would have missed this now. And I couldn't let that happen. I kept you breathing when life crushed you. I held your hand when darkness tried to take you. And now I am opening your ears to hear what I've been saying all along. It's your time. Let the doubters watch. Let the skeptics freeze in silence. Let the voices of fear be shut down by the undeniable manifestation of my promise over your life. This is not imagination. This is intervention. I'm intervening in your situation not just to change it but to crown it with purpose. You thought you were just surviving. But child, I was building a throne for my glory in the very place you almost gave up. Look again. Listen again. Feel the shift in your spirit. Something holy is happening right now. Don't blink. Don't run. Don't question. Just receive it. Because I, the Lord of hosts, am saying this loud across heaven and earth, it's finally your turn. Everything that once stood in your way, every wall, every invisible chain, every spiritual hindrance is being shattered at my command, right now, in this very hour. There were things you didn't see, forces you couldn't understand, timelines that confuse your faith, but I saw it all. I stepped into the middle of it while you felt stuck, and I began tearing down structures built by doubt and delay. You have been circled by opposition long enough. You have waited behind others while they were celebrated. But now, I am parting the crowd to walk you forward. I'm clearing space for what I have ordained to rise in your life. The spiritual fog that clouded your direction is lifting. The patterns that kept you circling the same battles are being interrupted by my divine order. You don't need to fight through this alone anymore. I'm stepping into the scene with authority that commands every hindrance to let go. Those prayers you whispered under your breath when you thought nothing would change have reached my throne louder than you can comprehend. They've activated a movement in the unseen that will begin showing up in the natural, and quickly. You were not abandoned in the waiting, you were being fortified. And now that the barriers have been uprooted, the blessing can finally flow without resistance. What you're walking into will not come with struggle or striving, it will come by surrender. No longer will you chase what I've already appointed to meet you. The shift is not subtle, it's undeniable. You'll know it by the peace that fills rooms you once trembled in. You'll sense it in the sudden release of burdens that felt welded to your shoulders. What once delayed you will now promote you. What used to slow you down will now push you forward. I have flipped the spiritual momentum. I have reversed the current that once pulled you back. The hour has changed, and so has the atmosphere around your calling. My hand is actively clearing paths before your feet touch them. People who once didn't recognize your value are being stirred to favor you without knowing why. Decisions are being made with your name in mind, even when you're not present in the room. This is not coincidence, this is orchestration. This is not man-made acceleration, this is heaven-sent intervention. I don't move according to time. I move by divine timing, and that moment is no longer one day, it is now. You'll feel me in the strange peace that settles over things that used to panic you. You'll feel me in the sudden ease of opportunities that once required constant effort. When I break delay, I don't just remove time, I restore everything you should have had during that time. Expect restoration in places you forgot you needed it. Expect answers in areas you stopped praying about. Expect new beginnings in chapters you thought were permanently closed. Because when I release something, no opposition can reclaim it. When I command forward motion, even the wind shifts to make space for you. This is not the kind of breakthrough you'll need to explain, it will be seen, and it will be undeniable. Those watching from a distance will witness your rise and won't be able to comprehend how quickly it happened. But you will know this was me all along. I am the one who delayed certain things not to punish, but to prepare the platform correctly. Because I refuse to place my beloved child on a foundation that will crack. And now, the groundwork is complete. You've been tested, shaped, and sharpened for such a time as this. What comes next will not resemble what came before. You've stepped into the irreversible release of my perfect will. So, don't look back to measure what's ahead. This is not a continuation of your old chapter. This is the beginning of something unrecognizably beautiful. I've waited until the very forces that tried to delay you ran out of power. Now that they are silenced, I speak one final command over your future. Advance. Love. Receive. Move without fear. Because what I have released cannot be withheld. Though one can block a door I've decided to open with my own hands. The chains have fallen. The time has arrived, and the divine current is now carrying you forward into everything I've been holding for you until this moment. You never realized how much your quiet endurance mattered to me. Every tear that slipped down your cheek when no one was watching, every time you swallowed your pain just to keep others from worrying, every moment you chose to trust me in silence rather than broadcast your struggle, none of it went unnoticed. I was there, kneeling beside you in those hidden moments. I saw how you kept serving, loving, giving, and hoping, even when your heart was barely holding together. I saw how you comforted others while you silently broke. You did not know it, but your silence was not weakness, it was worship. Every time you bit your tongue instead of lashing out, every time you praised me while confused, every moment you gave thanks when you didn't feel like it, you were planting seeds into a future only I could see. Those seeds are now bursting through the ground. The reward that is approaching you is not ordinary, it is tailored to your quiet sacrifices. It is precise. It is sacred. You weren't performing for the world, you were being faithful before heaven. And now heaven is responding. You will be honored in places where you were once overlooked. People will begin to ask how you held it together, and you will simply smile because they won't understand the depth of the inner battles you've won with me by your side. I'm preparing a scene where the ones who thought you were finished will witness you being elevated with my name stamped on every part of it. This is more than compensation, this is recognition from the throne. You thought you were hidden, but you were actually being preserved. While others rushed ahead, I was covering you like a seed beneath the soil, protecting you from premature exposure. I wasn't ignoring you, I was sheltering what was valuable. You see, public elevation without private refinement leads to collapse. But you let me shape your spirit in secret. So now I will trust you with what's about to be seen. And when it shows, it will not come with noise or chaos, it will come with glory. My glory. You will walk into this new chapter not with arrogance, but with reverence. Because you will know that every part of it was birthed from the quiet rooms where only you and I met. There's no need to fight for validation anymore. You don't have to explain yourself to those who misunderstood your journey. Your reward will do the talking. My favor will become your testimony. What I'm about to unfold in your life will be so specific, so timely, so undeniable, that even your enemies will say, only God could have done this. Here is a blessing that belongs to those who remain faithful in the shadows, and you are about to wear it. Your patience is not returning void. Your restraint was not wasted. Your discipline, when no one clapped, has reached me as a fragrance of honor. That is why I'm exalting you, not to boost your ego, but to put my goodness on display through your life. You will become a living witness of what it means to stay anchored in me when nothing makes sense. The spotlight you're about to walk into isn't man-made, it's a result of heaven's light finally shining on the season I've been preparing you for. You are not going to remain in the background anymore. You are being brought to the front not by your efforts but by my declaration. And when I decide to move someone forward, no voice, no structure, no agenda can block it. What once passed you over will now be drawn to you. What once dismissed you will now request your presence. You will not have to seek the opportunity, I will cause it to seek you. And you will walk in knowing this was never about achievement. It was about alignment. You aligned yourself with my will even when you were tired. And now I will align your life with breakthrough. The strength you held in silence has made noise in heaven. And now, the reward is making its way to you in power, in fullness, and in public view. I am not only revealing what I did in your life, I'm announcing to the world, this one stayed with me. And that, my child, is why everything changes now. You thought I was silent, but I was actually stockpiling favor on your behalf. I did not overlook your faithfulness. I was multiplying the impact of what I had planned for you. Each moment you felt invisible to the world was a moment I used to work in realms higher than your understanding. You were not neglected, you were being carefully positioned for something extraordinary. While you wondered if I'd passed you by, I was setting a table with your name carved into the center, preparing an outpouring far beyond your petitions. I never once turned my face away. I hid you for a season. Yes, but only because what I was preparing was far too sacred to be rushed. You saw delay, but I was orchestrating divine perfection. You heard silence, but heaven was echoing with conversations about your assignment. There were moments you felt like the least important person in the room, but I was setting you apart as the most watched in the kingdom. The weight of what I'm releasing now required that level of preparation. And make no mistake, this isn't just a small answer to prayer. This is a divine fulfillment that will ripple through generations. I wasn't just planning a solution. I was designing a legacy. You are walking into a release that others will benefit from, a move so strategic that it will bless people who haven't even heard your name yet. That's why I couldn't allow it too soon. That's why it had to come in this hour, because now you're ready to carry it. Now you'll handle it with humility, not pride. Now your hands are steady, not shaky. You know how to carry purpose without needing applause. You know how to protect what I've placed inside you. What I'm delivering isn't temporary, it's weighty with eternal significance. You won't strive for it, chase it, or be for it. It's coming directly to you because it was crafted specifically for you. This blessing has your spiritual fingerprints embedded in it. And no one else can take it. And no one else can fit into it. This is not general, it is personal. It carries the exact measure, timing, and form required for your life. Even the wrapping of it will confirm to your spirit that this is heaven sent. And when you see it, it will make sense why you had to go through what you did. It will explain why I said not yet so many times. It will suddenly click in your soul that nothing was wasted, not the waiting, not the tears, not the unanswered questions. I was not absent, I was building something too big to be revealed until now. The release is not small because the battle wasn't small. This is not a drop, this is a flood. A blessing so massive, it will overtake areas of your life you didn't even ask me to touch. It will flow into corners of your heart that you forgot were broken. It will revive dreams you thought were buried and breathe fresh wind into places you abandoned out of disappointment. What I'm sending isn't a token of comfort, it's a declaration of promise fulfilled. And not only will you receive it, but you'll carry it boldly because you will know the price you paid in secret. You'll know the prayers that were soaked in agony. You'll remember the nights you wrestled with doubt and still whispered, "Lord, I trust you." That trust is now being honored. That quiet endurance is now being crowned. The arrival of what I've held back is here. And no one can intercept what's been ordered from my hands. You don't need permission from people to receive what I've already authorized in heaven. I'm not waiting for approval from anyone. I'm not asking opinions. I'm sending it because I promised it. And my promises are not fragile, they are fire. They do not return void, they return victorious. So don't brace for disappointment, prepare for impact. Because what's about to touch your life is proof that I didn't forget you for a moment. I remembered you every day. And now, you will see what I've been saving for the exact moment you were ready to hold it. There were places you tried to enter that would not yield. You knocked, you asked, you fasted, and still nothing moved. You assumed something was wrong with you, as if you lacked some hidden ingredient of faith. But I tell you this, those doors remained shut not because you were unworthy, but because I had not yet placed my authority upon them. Your efforts weren't ignored, they were noted in heaven and held in reverence. I allowed the doors to stay closed until the time was right, not just for your sake, but for the integrity of what's behind them. What you were seeking required divine timing and complete alignment, or else it would have become a burden rather than a blessing. Now, that timing has been reached. Now, I have laid my hand on the very thresholds that once resisted you, and they are responding to my presence. These are not ordinary entrances, these are divinely protected access points. And no human power, no past mistake, no demonic force can hold them shut any longer. When I touch a door, it must obey. When I breathe on a gate, the hinges tremble under the weight of my authority. You are no longer pleading outside places that are destined to receive you. You're not approaching timidly, this time you're stepping through with divine backing. These openings will not creak, they will burst wide. There will be no delays, no waiting lines, no bureaucracy. I go ahead of you. I've signed what needed approval. I've removed the gatekeepers who would have denied you entry. You're not coming in as a guest, you're walking in as an heir. I am giving you access without explanation. I'm granting you entry without condition. This is not earned by performance, it's released through identity. You belong to me, and that alone gives you full clearance. Places that previously rejected you will now extend invitations. Doors you stopped pursuing will suddenly reach back to you with new openness. People who once dismissed your name will now advocate for your arrival. But this is not about their shift, it's about mine. I have shifted the atmosphere. I have whispered to the foundations of structures that were not ready to receive you. And they are ready now. Every system, every opportunity, Every place that held potential but remained just out of reach, they are being transformed into pathways, not obstacles. No longer will you circle the same mountain, hoping for a break. No longer will you repeat cycles of striving, only to feel defeated. I'm cutting the loop. I'm rewriting the access code. The resistance is over because my authority has stepped into the equation. And where I step, limitations lose their voice. You'll notice things that used to require years will happen in moments. You'll walk into situations already prepared for you. You won't have to force your way, and I've already made your presence expected. Rooms are being prepared. Minds are being stirred. Protocols are shifting to accommodate the arrival of someone they don't yet realize carries my assignment. They may see you as ordinary, but what walks with you is divine. And when the doors open, you'll realize why I didn't allow you through before. What's behind them now is fully ripe, fully structured, fully anointed. You were not ready then, but more importantly, they were not ready for you. I've now made it mutual. You'll enter these new spaces with peace, not pressure. With favor, not fear. With clarity, not confusion. There will be no imposter syndrome here, because I have endorsed you myself. And where I endorse, the world adjusts. They may ask, who let you in? And you will answer, the King of Kings touched the gate. You will walk forward and not glance back, because you'll know this wasn't by luck, strategy, or connection. It was my hand, my power, my divine authority that unlocked what could not be opened by human effort. The doors have recognized my seal. And now, my beloved, you will recognize what it feels like to walk through them without striving, without begging, without shrinking, because I, the Lord of Heaven, have moved on your behalf today. You've learned enough from sorrow. You've endured more than what many could survive. And I watched as you tried to make sense of lessons that were born out of heartbreak. Pain taught you things no book could contain. It showed you how to pray when you had no words. It trained you to stand when everything screamed for you to collapse. And yes, I used those moments. I shaped your character, sharpened your vision, strengthened your resolve. But now, that classroom is closed. You don't need to keep bleeding to prove you're growing. You don't have to be broken to be used. I'm ushering you into a new dimension where laughter is no longer distant, where peace is not temporary, where joy is no longer a visitor, it is your companion. You're not just being healed, you're being upgraded. I am replacing the lessons of suffering with the revelation of delight. You will now be led by hope, not survival. I'm removing the old mindset that expected things to go wrong. I'm lifting the heaviness that trained your heart to brace for disappointment. You don't have to wait for the next storm anymore. I've silenced that weather system. The atmosphere over your life has shifted permanently. You're walking into a season where joy is not earned. It is inherited. It flows not from circumstance but from connection. And you are deeply connected to me, the source of unshakable joy. You've cried long enough. You've carried sorrow like armor. But now I remove it gently, and I clothe you with garments of gladness. I'm restoring color where there was only gray. I'm putting rhythm back into your spirit where things felt mechanical and drained. This next chapter will feel different, not because everything outside has changed, but because I've transformed your inner world. You will smile without pretending. You will rest without guilt. You will dream without fear. Joy is becoming your portion, not as a reward for suffering, but as a sign that the season has changed. What you once used to grow through with grit and teeth, you will now dance through with grace. I'm taking your heart out of emergency mode. I'm shifting you from a place of managing pain to overflowing with lightness. And this isn't temporary, it's a divine reintroduction to how I originally designed your life to function. You were never meant to be stuck in cycles of exhaustion and grief. That was the enemy's design to steal your song and mute your spirit. But I have intervened. I have intercepted his assignment. And now, I restore the melody. I restore the dance. I restore the sweetness that sorrow tried to erase. Your laugh will return, and when it does, it won't sound like it used to. It will carry weight. It will carry testimony. It will carry authority. Because joy born from ashes is not ordinary, it's supernatural. It carries evidence. It speaks to every watcher in the spiritual realm that heaven has the final word. That's what this chapter is about. Evidence. Not theory. Not hope deferred. But proof. Proof that I am not only the God who sees pain, but the God who rewrites endings. This isn't a break between battles, it's a beginning that lasts. And no, this isn't too good to be true. This is the part of the story I've been waiting to release. The joy I'm giving isn't shallow. It's not the result of things going your way. It's rooted in me. It flows from my nearness. It rises from the inside and spills over. And the best part, you don't have to force it. You just have to receive it. I'm writing the soundtrack of your life. Where it once played notes of survival, it will now sing with sounds of celebration. Even your surroundings will begin to shift. Environments that once weighed you down will feel lighter because you're carrying something new within you. You'll recognize places that no longer fit the joy I'm placing in your heart, and you will have the courage to walk away from them. Joy will begin guiding your steps, and with every decision led by peace, you'll discover how deeply I've transformed your reality. This is not temporary relief. This is the joy of the Lord becoming your strength in a way you've never experienced before. Walk with it. Trust it. Yard it. And know this. You stepped into a chapter where the joy I give will never run dry. There were moments when life felt like a blur, when you couldn't even articulate what you were being tested on, but you were. Not in the way the world examines, not with written answers or public recognition, but in the quiet trials that tested the integrity of your faith when no one was watching. I placed you in seasons not to see you struggle, but to see what remained in you when nothing seemed to remain around you. And beloved, you didn't realize it at the time, but you were walking through a sacred evaluation that only heaven could measure. It wasn't about performance, it was about posture. I wasn't testing your strength. I was observing your surrender. You did have all the right words, but your heart stayed pointed toward me. You weren't perfect, but you stayed honest. You didn't pass because you were flawless, you passed because you were faithful when it was hardest to be. You said yes when it was easier to quit. You stayed still when rushing would have felt more natural. You endured internal storms with a silent cry that pierced through dimensions. That's what this moment is about. I'm not just sending a blessing, I'm making a declaration in the spirit realm. My child passed the test. You have no idea how much that matters. That statement shakes kingdoms. It silences accusations. It dismisses false charges from the enemy. Because when heaven announces that a test has been passed, everything that tried to hinder your purpose loses its grip. I did not forget what you endured. I did not ignore the conflict you battled behind the scenes. The sleepless nights, the confusion that tried to paralyze your purpose, the fatigue that came from loving people who didn't understand your calling, I saw all of it. And now, I place my seal on your journey and declare, promotion has been approved. This shift you're stepping into is not random. It's not luck. It's not sudden. It's the outcome of unseen obedience. You could have let bitterness win, but you chose grace. You could have gone silent in your faith, but you still whispered my name. That moved me. That shook heaven. You had every reason to give up, but you kept walking even if it was slow. I count every step. And today, I announce in the courts of heaven that what's coming to you is not just provision, it's a sign of validation. It's the reward of private sacrifice. What's unlocking before your eyes isn't a coincidence. It's divine justice. And not only are you stepping into this moment, I'm making sure those who doubted your calling hear the trumpet sound that you made it through. Not for revenge, not for pride, but because I want the world to know what happens when someone chooses me even when they don't understand everything I'm doing. That is faith. That is love. That is trust. And that is why this moment matters. From this day forward, you will no longer walk around wondering if you're on the right path. I'm clearing the fog. I'm announcing your arrival into a season where the pressure turns into power, where the silence becomes sound, where the preparation becomes purpose. I am placing my hand upon your next step so firmly that your direction will be unmistakable. The same grace that carried you through this invisible trial is now crowning you with visible authority. Doors are not just opening, they are being flung wide because you didn't fail in the wilderness. I had to bring you through this way not to punish you, but to prepare you for what only the refined can carry. You're walking into favor that only the tested can steward. You've crossed a line in the spirit. And I need you to hear this with everything in you. You passed. You passed the test of integrity. You passed the test of hidden worship. You passed the test of staying when it was easier to run. And now, I raise my voice over your life and declare in full authority, watch what happens next, because the reward is not delayed any longer. You were never forgotten. You were being examined by heaven. And now, heaven is responding with a reward that carries my signature. You've heard the delays. You've heard the wait a little longer, and maybe later, and you're not quite ready. They came from mouths that didn't carry heaven's perspective. Some came from your own thoughts, polluted by past disappointments. Others came from people who couldn't see what I placed inside you, so they labeled you according to their own limitations. But I never echoed those voices. I never aligned with the discouragement. I watched as you kept trusting despite being constantly told your time hadn't come. Every time someone dismissed your readiness, I wrote it down. Every time you smiled while hiding the ache of being passed over, I marked it with compassion. They didn't know what I knew. They couldn't see what I was building in you behind the scenes. And now, I am standing on the stage of your destiny and speaking one word that cancels every delay you've internalized. Now. I am saying it with clarity, with power, with no hesitation. Now is the moment I have chosen to unveil what I've kept reserved for such a time as this. The not yet season has expired. The timelines others tried to force on you have been torn down. I am the one who ordains time, and I say you are not early, you are not late, you are perfectly positioned. When I say now, nothing can argue. When I say go, no force can hold you back. What once resisted you now has no voice. The waiting room is closing, and the door into fulfillment is swinging open without resistance. What I'm doing in your life is not based on opinion, suggestion, or prediction. It is the outcome of divine timing aligned with divine identity. You didn't push your way here. You didn't manipulate or force results. You waited. And I do not let those who wait on me remain ashamed. The very ones who once said, "It's not your season," will now watch as I usher you into a divine moment crafted with exactness. Not to shame them, but to remind them that I am the one who authors callings, not man, not systems, not status. I do not need consensus to bless you. I do not need human permission to accelerate you. I'm doing this in such a way that the contrast will be undeniable. Your past no's will make your current yes that much more miraculous. And it will be obvious that no person could have made this happen. It had to be me. Because it is marked with the unmistakable stamp of my sovereignty. Your name is now being spoken in places where decisions carry weight. Favor is finding you, not because you pursued it, but because it's attracted to obedience. And you've obeyed even when confused, even when tired, even when discouraged. You stayed under when it felt easier to walk away. And now, I lift you up not just into a new level but into a new authority. The now I speak is not just for access, it's for activation. What has been dormant is coming alive. What has been overlooked is being seen. What felt paused is being resumed with momentum. You'll begin to see how everything is suddenly connecting. Conversations will start aligning. Unexpected confirmations will land in your path. And you will recognize, this is not random. This is the fulfillment of a divine appointment. No more will you question if your turn will come. No more will you feel like a background character in your own life. I am flipping the script. You are being called to the forefront, not by man's choice, but by heaven's decree. And those voices that once said not yet, they'll go silent. Not because you silenced them, but because I've overridden them. I am the final authority. And I have said now, everything that flows next will move with that word at its core. Decisions, shifts, resources, favor, clarity, all of it rushing in with the speed of obedience meeting divine timing. So don't hesitate. Don't question your place in this moment. I have called you forward, and I will not let your feet slip. You are not stepping into something temporary. You're stepping into something eternal. It begins now. You've asked for confirmation. You've searched the skies for signals, scanned scripture for hidden clues, waited for someone to say what your soul was desperate to hear. You hoped that just maybe I would send a message through a dream, a stranger, or a sudden breakthrough. And while you waited for signs to fall into place, I was already preparing to be far more than that. You see, what you were asking for was evidence that I was still listening, but I've never stopped. I heard every whispered plea. I caught every sentence you choked back in tears. I didn't miss the nights when you stared at the ceiling wondering if I'd forgotten your address. And now, I tell you plainly, I am not merely sending help, I am the help. I'm stepping into your circumstances not as a distant voice, but as a present force. I'm not handing you direction from afar. I'm walking with you in the very path you thought you'd tread alone. What's coming isn't a subtle hint, it's a full revelation. I'm revealing myself as the fulfillment of what your heart has been crying out for in the dark. I'm not pointing toward your rescue, I am your rescue. I'm not arranging hope around you, I am your hope. You looked for a sign, but what you needed was a savior. And that's who I've always been. In this moment, I remove the veil of delay and show you the reality of my nearness. I'm no longer whispering from a distance, I'm speaking directly, clearly, undeniably. This is more than divine intervention. This is a holy unveiling. I'm allowing you to experience what it feels like when heaven invades the ordinary. You won't just receive answers, you will witness my face in the middle of your questions. I'm not simply responding to your request. I'm becoming the very solution that swallows your confusion. I'm not giving a strategy, I am the strategy. I'm not providing a fix, I am the fulfillment. This encounter will not be something you dissect intellectually, it will be something that transforms your spirit from the inside out. You'll no longer feel like you're just waiting for something to happen. You'll know it has already begun. My presence is writing the atmosphere. You're not walking toward help, it has already arrived. In fact, it's been surrounding you longer than you realized. But now, I am making it visible, tangible, undeniable. You won't have to wonder if this is me, it will carry a peace that surpasses logic, and a strength that settles your soul without explanation. You'll find yourself standing in places you used to dream about. You'll feel a fire reignite that you thought was permanently extinguished. Because I'm not just attending to your needs, I'm awakening your destiny. You didn't even know the full extent of what you were asking for, but I did. I saw beyond the words. I discerned the ache buried beneath your requests. You prayed for doors to open, I'm building an entire passageway. You hoped for a sign of survival, I'm bringing full restoration. You wanted a glimpse of purpose, I'm revealing the blueprint. You searched for a direction, I'm becoming your compass. And everything about this moment will reflect that reality. You'll begin to notice how your thoughts shift, how peace no longer feels temporary, how clarity begins to arrive without strain. It's because you're no longer grasping for signs, you're encountering the source. And when you walk with the source, you don't fear scarcity. When you stand next to the answer, you don't stress over delay. I'm becoming everything you didn't even know how to ask for. The gaps you tried to fill on your own are being mended not with bandages, but with divine completion. I'm sealing off the leaks in your faith, not by rebuking you for doubting, but by overwhelming you with my undeniable goodness. You'll no longer need to interpret omens, I'll be standing right in front of you. You'll no longer beg for confirmation, I'll be confirming it by my presence. So receive this not as a message from afar, but as an encounter unfolding now. I haven't just answered your prayer, I am your answer, and I have come to make all things new. I am reversing the lens through which you've seen yourself. For too long, you've measured your life by what's been missing. You've labeled your story by what didn't happen, by what was denied, by what others said that you didn't. You've looked around and wondered why it always felt like you were behind, as if something vital was always just out of reach. But that perspective is being shattered. I am removing the mindset of deficiency and releasing the reality of overflow. You are no longer operating from the margins, you are stepping into the center of abundance that I have designed specifically for you. This is not motivational hope, this is a prophetic turning point. You are not stepping into survival. You are entering surplus. Not earned by your striving, but appointed by my mercy. I'm not simply filling your hands, I'm flooding your life with more than what's been lost, more than what was stolen, more than what you thought was permanently gone. Your story will not be written with the ink of scarcity, but with the power of supernatural provision. I'm not just giving you what you asked for, I'm pouring out what I've been storing up, waiting for the exact moment your capacity could hold it. And child, that moment is now. The time of scraping by spiritually, emotionally, and physically is over. I am tearing up the blueprint of limitation and unfolding the scroll of divine abundance over your life. And this overflow will not be random, it will be specific. It will come to the very areas that were once dry. The parts of your soul that felt forgotten are the very places I am targeting with fresh rain. The soil that once produced no fruit is about to yield in ways that will leave even you astonished. Not just in one area but across the landscape of your life. I'm multiplying in relationships, in purpose, in clarity, in opportunity, in peace, in strength, and in joy. You'll begin to notice how lack no longer holds a seat at your table. Where there was once hesitation, there will now be confidence. Where you used to shrink back, you will now move forward with boldness, not rooted in pride, but in the certainty of knowing I'm the one who sent you. You'll find yourself giving where you once feared you had nothing to offer. You'll pour out without running dry. Because I'm not blessing you for accumulation, I'm blessing you for distribution. You are becoming a vessel that carries overflow, not for your name's sake, but for the impact I've designed you to make. What I'm pouring into your life is going to touch people you haven't even met yet. It will spark healing in environments that have been heavy for years. The overflow I'm sending is not just material, it's spiritual authority. It's prophetic clarity. It's emotional resilience. It's vision that sees beyond limitation. I'm turning your life into a stream that cannot be dammed. What once trickled will now roar. And this time, you won't have to chase the blessing, it will chase you. Not just because I delight in blessing you, but because it is time for the world to witness what happens when a life is surrendered without conditions. You didn't trade your faith for comfort. You trusted me when it cost you. And now I will honor that faith by making you an example of what overflow looks like in the hands of someone who didn't quit. People will look at you and not just see success, they'll see surrender rewarded by heaven. They'll feel the peace that radiates from your presence. They'll sense something different, something weighty, something holy. Because overflow doesn't come to impress, it comes to shift atmospheres. And that's what I'm doing with you now. The dry wells are being reopened. The blocked flow is being released. I'm removing the hand of restriction and opening floodgates you forgot existed. What's coming next will not resemble anything you've experienced before. And I declare over you now, this season shall not be called empty, insufficient, or almost. It shall be known as the season where my abundance met your obedience, and together they birthed overflow that could not be measured or contained. You've carried the residue of dismissal for far too long. Words spoken against you, decisions made without you, moments where you were looked over, bypassed, and deemed unworthy. These things wrapped themselves around your identity like invisible chains. You tried to rise, but the sting of not being chosen kept whispering lies in your ear. You questioned your worth not because I told you to, but because the world's silence made you doubt your place in it. But I am severing that weight from your soul right now. You will no longer wear the garments of rejection. You will no longer identify with what you lost, who left you, or who failed to see the treasure I placed within you. That season has ended. I am clothing you in something new, something designed by heaven, something tailored by my hands, something that cannot be removed by human judgment or earthly systems. It is called favor, and it is irreversible. This isn't the kind of approval that fades when people change their opinions. This isn't acceptance based on performance. This is divine validation, and it is permanent. You don't need to earn it. You don't have to beg for it. You don't need to convince anyone that you're worthy of it. I have placed it on you myself, and no voice, no history, no mistake can strip it from you. This favor will speak for you in places where your name was once rejected. It will go ahead of you and prepare conversations before you even arrive. It will rewrite perceptions that were based on ignorance or assumption. And this time, it won't come through manipulation or self-promotion, it will come through presence. My presence upon you. They'll feel something shift when you walk in, not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. I'm covering you in such a way that even environments that used to exclude you will now extend invitations. Not for appearances, not for approval, but because my light cannot be ignored. I'm giving you back your voice, the one rejection tried to mute. I'm restoring your posture, the one shame tried to shrink. I'm lifting your head, the one disappointment tried to bow. This favor doesn't just alter your opportunities, it reshapes your identity. You are no longer the one they forgot. You are the one I remembered. And when I remember someone, everything changes. I make out of time at Burlot of Udemity. You are not behind, you are being elevated at the exact pace I plan. This favor will restore years of internal war. It will silence every lie that told you you're too broken, too late, too small, too strange, too much. The enemy has spent years trying to convince you that you were disqualified. But he forgot something. I don't choose the already proved. I choose the surrendered. And your surrender has attracted heaven's spotlight. The robe I place on you is not just symbolic, it is spiritual authority. It signifies that you are stepping into rooms not as a rejected one, but as my appointed vessel. You'll begin to see how things align without striving, how your name rises in conversations you never knew were happening, how access is granted not because of connections, but because of my anointing. You're about to be seen not for what you've lacked, but for what I've hidden within you for such a time as this. And no one will be able to reverse it. No system, no voice, no gatekeeper can undo what I've placed upon you. The robe of favor I'm placing on you now is woven with threads of restoration, healing, purpose, and divine covering. And those who once questioned your place will stand back in awe not of you but of what I've done through you. To walk with confidence. Don't look back at the ones who said no, look ahead to the one who said yes. Their rejection was never a reflection of your value, it was simply redirection toward your divine unveiling. And now, child, the unveiling has begun. You are not who they said you were. You are who I say you are. Clothed in favor. Marked by grace. Lifted by love that cannot be revoked. You've lived through the ache of nearly. You've tasted moments that looked like victory, only to watch them fade just before they became real. You stood on the edge of hope so many times that it almost became a painful place rather than a joyful one. Almost healed. Almost chosen. Almost free. Almost enough. That cycle ends today. I am breaking the repetition of disappointment that has kept you locked in hesitation. I am silencing the echo of not yet that played every time you dared to dream again. This is not another false start. This is not another glimpse with no follow-through. This is the hour where the unfinished becomes complete. The chapter you thought would never turn is turning. The long-awaited manifestation is no longer just in the distance, it is meeting you now. I am stepping in to finish what was started. I am not a God of partial answers. I do not tease my children with half-fulfilled promises. When I begin something, I carry it to completion. And what I spoke over your life is no exception. The delays didn't cancel the promise. They only deepened the foundation. The waiting didn't deny the fulfillment. It expanded your capacity to receive it fully when it came. And now, because you did not let go, because you held on to me when you didn't understand, I am ushering you into the reality of what you only imagined before. You will no longer live in a constant state of tension between hope and doubt. The door you've been knocking on is not only opening, it's welcoming you with full access. You won't have to wonder this time. There will be no ambiguity. You will know it's me. I am removing the question marks from your spirit and writing my signature across this moment. Promise kept. You're not entering another trial, you're entering testimony. You won't be explaining what you're still waiting for, you will be walking in what I've already released. And it will come with peace. It will come with assurance. It will come with a sense of divine timing that makes you exhale for the first time in years. I'm placing you into a season that will not be followed by heartbreak. This is not temporary. This is not conditional. This is permanent movement. You've come to know me in the fire. Now you will know me in fulfillment. You've been trained in trust. Now you will be sustained by evidence. The cycle of almost bred resilience in you. Yes, but I did not create you to endlessly endure. I created you to walk in abundance, to live in my faithfulness, to rest in completed works. That's where you're headed now. You're moving from nearly to now. You're shifting from someday to this day. You're being brought into alignment with my perfect schedule. And everything that seemed out of sync before is suddenly falling into place with precision only heaven could orchestrate. The people, the places, the timing, all of it is clicking together because you've stepped into the appointed hour. This moment carries weight. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is fulfillment. It is the realization of prayers that were once whispered in desperation. It is the manifestation of tears I've collected in silence. And it will speak. The promise will speak louder than the pain. The fulfillment will shout over the doubts. The reality will silence every mocking voice, internal or external. You'll no longer have to convince yourself to keep hoping. You'll wake up and see what you used to battle just to believe. And I will be right there, not just as the one who declared it, but as the one who delivered it. Because I do not disappoint. I do not delay without reason. And I never forget what I've spoken over my beloved. The season of circling ends now. The repetition of near misses is broken. You've crossed over. You're not almost anymore. You are standing in the center of a promise fulfilled, and no force on earth can take this moment away from you. Heaven has heard your name. Not in passing, not as a whisper lost in the crowd, but as a direct decree released with my authority. I did not mention you casually, I proclaimed you boldly before the council of eternity. You've been spoken of in places the natural eye cannot see, in dimensions beyond the reach of time. I summoned the angels who have been assigned to your life and commanded them to move with urgency. The waiting period is over. I have spoken in the courts of heaven, and what I announce in that realm manifests in this one. This is not a suggestion. This is a release. I did not ask for permission. I issued a command. I looked upon your journey, your struggle, your growth, your surrender, and I found you prepared. Not perfect, but posture. Follows by phone. And that is why I said, now. The moment those words left my lips, everything around you began to shift. The spiritual terrain is responding. Creation itself is aligning. What was once slow is gaining speed. What was once blocked is breaking open. Because when I say someone is ready, no force has the authority to disagree. You were not overlooked, you were being reserved. I kept you covered while I built endurance inside you. I held you back, not to deny you, but to preserve you for a moment that could carry the weight of what's coming. Now that the moment has arrived, I am not sending a trickle, I am unleashing a current. You may not have seen the signs building behind the veil, but I've been orchestrating details you never thought to pray for. I didn't just prepare the blessing, I structured it to fit the shape of your obedience. The timing, the connections, the opportunities, they are not random. They are wrapped in your name because I authorized them personally. You will begin to notice divine alignments fall into place without your effort. It will feel surreal at first, as if it's happening too fast, but it's not fast. It's right on schedule. The acceleration you're about to walk in is not chaotic, it's coordinated. I've been waiting for the exact window when you could receive it, protect it, and multiply it. That moment has come. I am announcing your name into dimensions that had previously ignored you. I am speaking your identity into rooms where decisions are being made. And it won't just be your name they hear, it will be the echo of my voice behind it. You've been known for your struggle, but now you will be recognized for your strength. You've been seen through the lens of your process, but now you will be revealed through the lens of your purpose. What was hidden is emerging. What was dismissed is being exalted. Not for your ego, but for my glory. The blessing is coming not to inflate you, but to position you. It's not about being noticed by people, it's about being activated by heaven. Your name carries more than sound, it carries assignment. I'm putting weight on your presence. When you walk into places, there will be a shift. Because you're not just showing up as a person, you're showing up as a carrier of my decree. You'll feel it in the way people respond. You'll see it in the way doors open before you even knock. You'll sense it in the clarity that replaces confusion. That's because I've given your name momentum in the spiritual realm. No more stalling. No more waiting for approval. No more wondering if this is it. This is it. This is the beginning of movement that cannot be reversed. I have sealed it with my authority. I've spoken it with the voice that created galaxies. And once I speak, nothing returns void. So walk forward, not with hesitation, but with the full awareness that your name has already been spoken in the highest realm of power. You've been chosen, appointed, and released not by people but by me. And when I release a name, I release destiny with it. That's what's coming for you now, destiny, released in fullness, wrapped in favor, dripping with glory, and signed with my eternal yes. You believed the silence meant denial. You thought the pause meant I had changed my mind. But what you called delay was my divine shield. I wasn't withholding good from you, I was preserving you from what would have broken you if it came too soon. You cried out for answers, not realizing I was editing the outcome to fit what your heart truly needed, not just what your lips requested. I have never been late. Every second I held back was a second I used to build what was best. You imagined you were forgotten, but I was focused on details you didn't even know would matter later. I didn't reject your request, I refined it. I looked into your future and saw what you couldn't see, the distractions that would have derailed you, the people who would have drained you, the opportunities that would have enticed you into environments you weren't built to survive. So I said, wait. Not to punish, but to protect. Not to frustrate, but to fine-tune. I have been working in silence, crafting a version of the answer that is not only good but unshakably perfect. You will see soon why it couldn't arrive on your timeline. You weren't being ignored. You were being guarded. And now that the refinement is complete, now that the landscape has been cleared and the ground has been strengthened, I am bringing you into alignment with the exact form of the promise I designed before time began. I didn't forget the vision I gave you. I made it stronger while you waited. I did cancel the blessing, I shaped it to match the weight of who you are now. You are not the same person who first asked me. You've grown. You've matured. You've endured. You've learned how to surrender when you didn't understand. And that surrender changed everything. I used your submission to reshape the structure of what I'm sending. Because now I know you won't misuse it. Now I trust that you will protect it. Now you won't worship the gift, you'll glorify the giver. That's what this delay accomplished. It didn't reduce your promise. It purified it. And now, when it arrives, it won't feel forced or fragile. It will feel destined. It will fit perfectly because I tailored it in divine stillness. And you will know without question that it was worth every second of waiting. You will see how each not yet was layered with purpose. How every closed door was really a redirection toward better. How all the uncertainty was leading to clarity that could only be birthed through time. The moments where it felt like everything was falling apart. Those were the places I was assembling pieces in secret. The relationships that didn't work out. They were necessary exits to create space for covenant. The dreams that seemed to die. They were being replanted with stronger roots. What you thought was me saying no was really me whispering, trust me. I'm still building. You wanted fast, but I was creating flawless. And now, the version of the promise I'm releasing will not crumble under pressure. It's been tested. It's been secured. It's been prepared for endurance, not just excitement. You'll look back at what you once prayed for and realize that what I gave you exceeded every outline you drafted in your own understanding. Because I am not a God of the minimum. I am not limited to quick fixes or shallow resolutions. I am the master of timing. I am the architect of fulfillment. And I never hand you anything prematurely, because I love you too deeply to let a blessing become a burden. So yes, it took longer than you hoped, but it's arriving exactly when it should. And this time, it will last. This time, it won't slip through your fingers. This time, it will come with confirmation so strong that even your doubts will have to bow. So lift your head. Clear your mind. Stop grieving the delay. What you're about to step into wasn't late, it was custom made by my hands while you trusted through silence. And now, child, the silence is over. What I was perfecting is ready to meet you. What I'm placing in your care now isn't for display, it's for demonstration. This is not about proving anyone wrong or proving yourself right. This is about revealing what happens when faith doesn't break under pressure, when hope is sustained through silence, when love for me doesn't collapse when things seem unfair. I've watched you continue to believe even when you had every reason to give up. I saw you walk without applause. I saw you serve without attention. I saw you plant seeds without knowing if a harvest would ever come. And now, because you stayed faithful, I'm putting something in your hands that will make every trial worth it. But hear me clearly. This is not a trophy. This is a tool. I'm not giving it to elevate your status, I'm giving it to illuminate my power. The very people who thought you missed your chance are about to witness what favor looks like when it falls on someone who never stopped depending on me. They won't be able to deny the shift. They won't be able to explain the change. Because what I'm releasing won't look like what you had before, it will carry my fingerprint. It will bear marks of divine origin. This is not the product of striving, it is the fruit of surrender. And when you hold it, you'll feel the weight of my glory resting on it. You'll feel my presence in every part of it. This is not something that man could orchestrate or manipulate. It's unmistakably mine. I'm trusting you with something holy. You're not receiving it because you're perfect, but because you're postured. You know how to protect what's sacred. You know how to carry blessing without boasting. That's why I waited for this version of you. Not the one that needed validation. Not the one that feared rejection. But the one that is rooted, grounded, and ready. Because what's coming next requires maturity. It requires grace under pressure. It requires eyes that don't seek approval, but alignment. And you have that now. I didn't waste a single season forming that in you. The tears, the pruning, the inner wrestling, it shaped you into someone who could be trusted with what I'm placing in your hands. And this release will not just impact you, it will shift atmospheres around you. Your breakthrough will provoke hunger in others. Your stability will shake things in people who have watched from a distance. Your consistency is about to become contagious. Because I'm not just blessing you for your benefit, I'm using you as a living message. A visible testimony that I am still moving, still speaking, still fulfilling. Your life will be a platform of promise. Not through performance, but through quiet authority that comes from walking with me. This is what it looks like when I say yes. Not just an open door, but a door you never expected to be yours. Not just a moment of opportunity, but a mantle of responsibility. Because my yes is not small. It comes with weight. It comes with purpose. It comes with legacy. And I trust you with that. I trust that you will not turn it into a spectacle. I trust that you will not trade it for applause. I trust that you will protect it as something holy. So don't minimize what I'm handing you now. Don't compare it to what others carry. What's in your hands was crafted for your calling. It fits your assignment. It carries grace specifically tailored to your capacity. And no one can duplicate it. No one can displace it. Because it came from me. And what I give, I protect. What I release, I sustain. You won't have to defend it, I will. You won't have to market it, I'll magnify it. You won't have to chase doors, I will command them to open. Because this isn't about popularity, it's about purpose. And your purpose has now come into full view. So take what I'm giving you with reverence. Carry it with confidence. And walk knowing this: what's in your hands is proof that heaven answers, not always when expected, but always when perfect. And now the world will see what my yes really looks like, not loud, not flashy, but powerful, undeniable, and filled with glory. Before anyone acknowledged your potential, before titles or recognition, before you had anything to show, I chose you. Not because of what you can do, but because of who you are, and no one is watching. Others looked at the surface. They assessed you based on appearance, performance, background, or credentials. They passed over you because they didn't perceive what I had planted deep within. But I've never needed a crowd to approve someone I've already anointed. I didn't choose you for popularity, I chose you for purity. I didn't choose you for perfection, I chose you for persistence. I saw the way your heart beats for what is right, even when it costs you. I saw how you hold on to your integrity, even when it's inconvenient. I saw the conversations you've had with me in secret, the ones where you poured out your fears and frustrations yet still surrendered. That's what moved me. Not your ability to impress people, but your willingness to trust me when no one affirmed you. I saw your heart when it was raw. I saw your motives when they were misunderstood. And I chose that heart. Not because it was flawless, but because it was honest. And in a world full of performance, I was looking for sincerity. You didn't ask to be chosen, I simply called you mine. I looked beyond the outer qualifications and saw something eternal woven within you. And that's what I've been nurturing. That's what I've been guarding. That's why certain doors didn't open, because I wouldn't let people with shallow sight mishandle what I treasure in you. You didn't miss out. You were preserved. You didn't get rejected. You were protected. I covered you while others got ahead. Not because I was punishing you, but because I knew what I placed inside of you required more time, more shaping, more refining. I couldn't let you be exposed before the root system was strong. And now that the roots have gone deep, now that your heart is anchored in me, I'm raising you in a way that no one can sabotage. Your elevation won't come through connections or strategy. It will come through revelation. It will be revealed not just to you, but to those who never saw it coming. But even then, remember this: you were not chosen now. You were chosen before. This moment is only catching up to what I declared over you long ago. You were mine when you were ignored. You were mine when you were unseen. You were mine when you were still finding your voice. And I delighted in you. I took joy in the way you chose me when it was lonely. I honored the way you kept showing up when no one noticed. And now, I'm making it clear, not for your validation, but for my glory. Because I want the world to see what happens when someone walks with me in purity of heart. Your life is about to reflect my choice in you. You'll begin to see alignment chase you down. You'll begin to hear things spoken about you that confirm what I've been whispering to your soul all along. Don't be surprised when favor locates you in unexpected places. Don't be shaken when influence finds you without you reaching for it. This is the fruit of being chosen by the one who sees beyond resumes and appearances. And you can rest in this truth: what I start, I sustain. I will abandon what I've selected. I will leave what I've called. I won't stop backing what I've blessed. You don't need to compete. You don't need to strive. Just stay surrendered. Keep your heart in my hands, because that's what I chose from the beginning. And as long as your heart remains mine, nothing and no one will be able to stop what I've set in motion. I'm raising you not just to be seen, but to be a standard. To carry what others dropped. To live what others only speak about. You weren't overlooked. You were handpicked. And now, what I saw all along is about to be seen by many, not because you demanded it, but because I declared it. There were moments when you felt like the opportunity had passed you by. You looked at the clock of your life and wondered if you had missed it, if you had taken too many detours, made too many mistakes, or started too far behind. But I want you to hear me now with absolute clarity. You are not late. Not in my kingdom. Not in my timing. Not for the miracle I've been preparing specifically for you. You've been measuring your journey by earthly timelines, by comparisons, by what others accomplished before you even had your start. But my schedule doesn't operate by human standards. I don't look at age, background, or delay the way the world does. I measure readiness by surrender, not by speed. And you, my child, are right on time. Not for what you expected, but for something far greater than what you thought you missed. You see, I've been weaving timing and destiny together in ways your natural eyes couldn't detect. I've been placing puzzle pieces where you thought nothing was happening. Every season where you felt still, I was moving pieces into alignment. Every wait I whispered was buying time for divine perfection. Every closed chapter was building momentum for what's coming next. And what's coming will require your whole heart, your full attention, and your unwavering trust. That's why it took time. I needed you ready, not rushed. I needed you grounded, not grasping. And now, in this very hour, you are aligned with the very moment heaven has been counting down to. You're not just walking into a miracle, you are walking into your miracle. One that carries your spiritual fingerprint. One that has been marked by your tears, your faith, your endurance. Others may have gotten there before you in the natural, but they weren't appointed for this assignment. Only you carry the design for what I'm about to unfold. You weren't overlooked. You were reserved. And now, what you thought was a mischance will become the most undeniable testimony of how I redeem time. I will make it so clear that you didn't arrive late, you arrived exactly when the atmosphere was prepared, the ground was softened, and the path was clear. Your miracle didn't pass you, it waited for you. It waited for the version of you that emerged from the fire. It waited for the one who walks in quiet confidence, not noisy desperation. It waited for the one who has been trained by stillness, not speed. And now, you and the miracle are meeting right on cue. I am not asking you to strive for it. I'm asking you to step into it with trust. This isn't a race. It's a revelation. I'm showing you that I control the clock, not culture. I set appointments based on purpose, not pressure. And when I say the time is now, it doesn't matter who went first or who said you were too late. What I've ordained for you cannot be rerouted. It will not require apology. It will not need to be justified. It will carry its own confirmation. You'll know it's yours because of how deeply it matches the cries of your spirit, the prayers you couldn't even put into words. I'm not just restoring what you thought you lost, I'm releasing what you never saw coming. A miracle that doesn't resemble anything you missed before. A miracle tailor-made for this version of you, this level of maturity, this depth of surrender. And when it happens, you'll no longer mourn the years that felt wasted. Because I'm going to redeem time by doing more in this next season than you experienced in all the ones before. And people will look at your story and say, how did it happen so suddenly? But you'll know it wasn't sudden. It was sacred. It was scheduled. And it was right on time. So walk forward now, not with the weight of regret, but with the expectancy of fulfillment. Because the miracle didn't pass you, it's been waiting for you to arrive. And now, the timing is perfect, the door is open, and your name is being called. You've spent so much time preparing for pain that you've forgotten how to anticipate joy. You've walked through storms and gotten used to bracing for impact. I've seen how you've lived on edge, not because you lack faith, but because you've been conditioned by disappointment. But I'm calling you to shift your posture now. This next chapter will not require survival mode, it will require celebration mode. Not a forced smile, not a polite nod, but deep, holy rejoicing that flows from seeing my hand move openly, undeniably, and extravagantly. You don't need to brace yourself for loss anymore. You don't need to flinch when good things start unfolding. You don't need to suspect sabotage when doors open. What's coming is not a test, it's a table. A table I've prepared, not in secret, but in full view. not for punishment but for purpose. I've watched you grow used to lack, so now I'm teaching you how to feast. I'm moving you from battle posture to blessing posture. You've worn armor long enough, now I place a garment of gladness over your shoulders. And I'm inviting you into the joy I've been planning, not as a guest but as the one I designed the celebration for. This moment ahead of you isn't something you need to earn, it's something I've already paid for. It's a manifestation of my pleasure in you. You've passed through the fire. You've walked through shadows. Now you will stand in light that doesn't burn, it heals. You will not have to apologize for what I'm about to pour out. You won't need to shrink down to make others comfortable. You won't have to explain why the atmosphere around you is shifting. Let them see it. Let them witness it. Let them wonder how joy found you so boldly, because I want them to see what it looks like when I lift someone who refused to quit. I want them to hear the sound of celebration in your life and know it came from me. I'm not doing this quietly. I'm doing it with intention. There will be laughter in places where you used to weep. There will be honor in the rooms that once rejected you. There will be music in your soul where silence once echoed. I've prepared moments of rejoicing that will make up for years of mourning. The atmosphere is changing. The oil of joy is being poured over the dry places. I'm releasing supernatural relief, not temporary relief, but rest that reaches down into your bones. You will walk lighter, speak brighter, move freer. And none of it will be based on outward possessions. It will be rooted in what I've done inside you. The real celebration is not what's coming to you, it's what's coming through you. You become a carrier of joy. You become a temple of praise. You become a beacon of renewal. And because of that, celebration will follow you. I'm surrounding you with confirmation. Not just through moments, but through people, places, and provision. You'll wake up and feel it. You'll walk into rooms and sense it. It's not a feeling, it's a knowing. A supernatural awareness that something has shifted in your favor. I am surrounding you with gladness. I'm breathing freshness into places that have felt stale. You will rejoice not just because circumstances look better, but because your spirit is overflowing with divine assurance. This is not the kind of joy the world can manufacture. This is the kind that only comes when I say, the time has come. And I'm saying that now. So don't fear what's ahead. Don't prepare for disaster when I've already declared delight. Don't replay what went wrong when I'm writing what's going right. This season carries no threat. It carries fulfillment. It carries restoration. It carries evidence that I reward endurance. What's coming is not something to endure, it's something to embrace. Lift your head, breathe deeply, and walk with expectancy. Because you're not walking into trouble, you're walking into triumph. And the celebration I've prepared will not be short-lived. It will be the rhythm of your new reality. Rejoice, beloved. It's finally your turn to smile without fear of what comes next. There were seasons when holding on to hope made you feel foolish. Times when you had no proof, only my promise. You stood firm while others walked away. You stayed faithful when nothing changed you. You defended what you believed, even when it looked like nothing was working in your favor. I saw the conversations where you stayed silent instead of trying to justify your journey. I watched as you absorbed the confusion, the criticism, the raised eyebrows. You wanted to shout, "Just wait. You'll see," but you chose to keep trusting me in stillness instead. You chose peace over proving. And now, the moment has arrived where I will speak through the evidence. You won't have to convince anyone anymore. You won't have to explain your process, defend your path, or validate your decisions. What I'm releasing will speak for itself. It will carry a volume that silences every lingering question. The fruit will answer the doubts. The outcome will reveal the depth of what I was doing in the quiet. They'll see it in your walk. They'll hear it in your words. They'll sense it in your presence. Because when I establish someone, it leaves no room for confusion. My fingerprint becomes undeniable. What's about to emerge from your life isn't subtle, it's substantial. It's the kind of shift that makes people pause. It's the kind of favor that can't be ignored. You won't have to recount the battles you fought or the prayers you cried. Your breakthrough will carry the residue of that history without a word spoken. Your peace will tell the story. Your wisdom will reveal the waiting. Your confidence will make it clear that you didn't arrive here by chance, you were carried by grace. This is the beauty of what I'm doing. I'm taking everything that once made you question your place and turning it into confirmation. You didn't hold on for nothing. Every moment you stayed when it would have been easier to let go has been recorded, and now it will be rewarded. You'll begin to feel a shift in the atmosphere around you. People who once doubted you will start to honor the journey you took. Environments that once resisted you will begin to accommodate what I've built inside of you. And you won't need to announce anything. The transformation will be its own announcement. I'm clothing you in a glory that doesn't need words to be recognized. There will be something different about you, something divine. And those who encounter you will feel it. Not because you're trying to prove a point, but because I've made you a living testimony. You are stepping into a time where your history of faith will become visible in your future of fruitfulness. What was once private endurance is now becoming public demonstration. Not as a performance, but as fulfillment. You walked long roads with quiet hope. Now you will walk in places where hope has manifested. You will no longer have to explain your expectations. They will be materialized in your surroundings. What you carried in your heart is being born before your eyes. The prayers you whispered are becoming the reality you live in. And this will not be a temporary window, it will be a sustained unveiling. You're not stepping into a brief moment of relief. You're entering an era of realized promises. And no voice will be able to diminish it. Not even the voice of your own former doubts. I will flood every area of your life with such clarity, peace, and evidence that even you will begin to forget the weight of yesterday's questions. You will remember the struggle, yes, but it will no longer sting. You'll carry the memory, but it won't carry you. What you will carry now is fulfillment. What you will reflect now is proof. The proof that believing in me is never wasted. The proof that hope anchored in my word will never return empty. The proof that even when the world doesn't understand, I do. And I honor faith that keeps walking when the outcome isn't visible. You won't need to justify your journey anymore. I'm placing undeniable clarity upon you, and it will speak louder than anything you ever could. What they couldn't see before, they'll now see written all over your life. You believe it, and it was worth it. You didn't realize it then, but every closed door, every withheld opportunity, every time someone told you no, I was present. I saw your face fall when it didn't work out. I felt the tension in your spirit when you tried to make peace with what you didn't understand. You assumed those rejections meant something was wrong with you, or that you had failed me, or that your faith had not been enough. But child, hear me clearly. Those denials were not punishments, they were positioning. Each one was a divine interruption with purpose. I blocked access to places that would have distracted you from the fullness of your calling. I removed voices that could not handle the depth of what I placed in you. I closed the door, not to deny you, but to deliver you into the precise future I had scripted from the beginning. You thought those no's were the end of your story, but I was only flipping the page. I was rerouting your path without announcing every detail. I didn't owe you an explanation, I was writing an elevation. And now, I'm unveiling the purpose behind every unanswered request. What you once mourned is about to make sense. What you once questioned is about to become the foundation beneath your greatest breakthroughs. You'll begin to see how each knot. This was my way of guiding you toward exactly this. I have orchestrated a yes so undeniable, so complete, so overflowing with alignment, that it will eclipse every past rejection. You won't even desire what you once chased. You'll look back at the doors you tried to force open and thank me for holding them shut. Because what I'm releasing now doesn't just meet your need, it exceeds the prayers you prayed when you were still learning what to ask for. I've crafted this moment carefully. This yes isn't secondhand. It isn't a leftover opportunity from someone else. It carries your name. It was sealed with intention, formed in secret, timed with precision. And now it is being revealed, not because you forced it, But because you waited, because you trusted, and because you surrendered, you didn't demand your way, you aligned with mine. And in doing so, you unlocked something far beyond what effort alone could produce. You'll feel the difference when it comes. There will be ease where there used to be resistance. There will be favor where you once experienced delay. There will be flow where there was once friction. Because this yes is holy. It was not built by man, it was spoken by me. And no one can revoke what I've released. I'm not just opening one door, I'm opening several. I'm releasing multiple streams that have been waiting for this moment to converge. Your time of limitation is over. Your days of wondering are finished. This yes is the beginning of fulfillment. Not an emotional high, not a temporary relief, but a permanent unfolding of what I've prepared. And let me tell you something else. The ones who told you no will not define your future. I do. I always have. They didn't see what I saw. They didn't know what I knew. But now they will witness what I always intended. I'm not giving you this yes in secret. I'm placing it where those who doubted you can see it, not for revenge, but for revelation. To show that I am faithful. To prove that obedience will always outlast rejection. You never needed their validation. You only needed my voice. And now that voice is speaking over you with finality. Yes, this is the moment. Yes, this is the place. Yes, this is the season. So receive it without hesitation. Don't carry the weight of past refusals into this release. Don't question whether it's real. Don't sabotage it by expecting more pain. This is not a repeat. This is redemption. I have written every no into the setup for the yes I am declaring now, clearly, boldly, irrevocably. You asked if it would ever happen. I'm here to say it is happening. And I am the one who made it so. There were long stretches of time where I didn't say much. You prayed, but all you heard was stillness. You cried, but the heavens seemed quiet. And you wondered, did I leave you? Did I grow distant? Did I stop listening? But I never turned away. I never took my eyes off you. What you felt as emptiness was actually sacred space. That silence wasn't me leaving, it was me constructing. While you were waiting, I was working. Widely. Intentionally. Not everything I do comes with noise. Some of my most powerful moves are made in absolute stillness. Just like the seed must be buried in silence before it ever breaks through the ground, you were in a holy process of preparation. I hid you, not to punish you but to protect what I was forming in you. Because the permanence of what I'm building cannot be rushed. You didn't need a loud confirmation, you needed a lasting foundation. And that takes time. That takes silence. And I allowed that silence to press in, not to starve your hope, but to strengthen your roots. You didn't see the construction happening underneath the surface, but I was laying down framework that no storm could uproot. I was pouring identity into the deepest parts of you. I was anchoring you to truth that emotion couldn't shake. I was curing the cracks that history tried to leave in your soul. And I was doing it in quiet, because what's real is built when no one is watching. You wanted answers, but I was forming architecture. You asked for a word, but I was shaping a world. I was preparing your next season with permanence in mind. Not a temporary lift, not a short-lived breakthrough, but a life-changing shift that will last. And I had to do it in secret. If I had revealed everything too early, you might have mishandled it. You might have tried to fit it into your old understanding. But silence gave me room to expand your capacity. I wasn't ignoring you, I was investing in you. That's why you made it through things that should have broken you. That's why you didn't collapse when others would have. Because while nothing seemed to be happening on the outside, I was fortifying the inside. Now, the season is shifting. And what I've built in secret is about to be revealed in strength. You will begin to realize that the stillness wasn't stagnation, it was strategy. The waiting wasn't wasted, it was working something deep. You didn't go through silence for nothing. I was sharpening your discernment. I was teaching you to hear my whisper. I was detoxing your ear from all the noise that once distracted you. And now, when I speak, You'll recognize my voice like never before. The clarity you're stepping into is not accidental, it's the result of being shaped in silence. And the permanence I've designed is not fragile. You're not going to lose what's coming. It's not going to slip through your hands. It's been established through fire and stillness. It's been sealed by trust, not talent. You didn't have to perform for it. You just had to remain. And you did. You remained. When others walked away, you stayed near. When others abandoned the process, you kept showing up. And for that, I'm giving you not just answers, I'm giving you evidence. You're stepping into substance, into stability, into the fulfillment this silence made room for. So don't resent the quiet seasons. Celebrate them, because they mark the places where I was closest, even when you couldn't feel me. They are the holy chambers where my promises were carved deep into your soul. And now, you will walk into rooms where your presence will carry power, not because of what you've said, but because of who you became when no one else was watching. That's the gift of silence. It didn't strip you, it shaped you. It didn't punish you, it prepared you. And now the silence breaks. Not with noise, but with undeniable manifestation. I'm filling the quiet with fulfillment. And what I've built in stillness, no man, no storm, no enemy will be able to uproot. You've spent so long navigating uncertainty that receiving feels unfamiliar. You've adjusted to carrying questions, to managing expectations, to preparing yourself for what might not happen. But I am telling you, release that mindset. This moment isn't about analysis, it's about acceptance. You're standing in a space that requires trust, not overthinking. This isn't the hour to retreat into what if, this is the hour to open your hands and take hold of what I've already placed within reach. Doubt will always try to disguise itself as protection. It will whisper that it's safer to brace yourself than to believe again. But I am cutting off the voice of fear right now. It has no place where I'm leading you. What I'm pouring out is not small. It's not delayed. It's not a maybe. It's now. And you will miss it if you let the weight of past disappointments speak louder than the reality of my promise. I have brought you to this place to receive, not to wrestle, not to debate, not to shrink, but to welcome what is already in motion. What I'm doing doesn't need your perfect understanding. It needs your open spirit. You don't have to make sense of it. You just have to stop resisting it. You've already been faithful. You've already walked through the hard places. You've already proven that you can endure without seeing the results. But now, I'm asking you to step into the fulfillment part of the journey. The season where I pour, and you stop apologizing for being ready to receive it. Because I am a giver, and this moment has been designed for outpouring. If you hesitate, you'll miss the flow. Not because I'll remove it, but because I need your agreement to activate what's already been arranged. Faith is the key now. Not the faith to fight, the faith stirs you. The battle season is shifting. What used to require warfare now requires surrender. Not because there's no opposition, but because I've already handled it. You are not stepping into a battlefield, you're stepping into answered prayers. Don't let your survival instincts block your blessing. You're not going to need to earn this next wave. It's coming because you trusted me through the silence. It's coming because you obeyed me when no one was clapping. It's coming because I said it would. And my word never returns empty. I'm speaking now over areas that have been dry for too long. I'm unlocking things that used to take years in a matter of moments. But it requires that you believe again. Not halfway. Not with a backup plan. Fully. Authentically. I know that's vulnerable. I know that opening your heart again feels risky. But I am not like the things that let you down. I am not like the people who walked away. I do not give gifts and take them back. I do not make promises and then abandon them. If I said I would do it, I will. And if I said the time is now, then now is holy. I don't speak these words lightly. I release them with intention. And this one is yours. Receive. Lay down your need to understand everything. Let go of the fear that it's too good to be true. Open your spirit. Open your mouth. Open your hands. Say yes, not out of force, but out of faith. What I have for you is not fragile. It's not counterfeit. It's not barely enough. It's overflowing. But I need you to stop questioning if you're worthy. I need you to stop examining yourself through the lens of what's behind you. You're not receiving this because of your perfection. You're receiving it because of your positioning. You are where I told you to be. You stayed when walking away would have been easier. That alone has made you ready. So let it in. Let joy in. Let healing in. Let restoration in. Let breakthrough in. Let the fullness of what I've prepared flood your atmosphere. I have already said yes. The next move is yours. Not to earn, not to prove, just to receive. No more doubting. No more delaying. This is the moment everything begins to unfold, and it starts when you decide to let it. You've outgrown what used to surround you. The people, the rhythms, the patterns that once served a purpose in your earlier chapters can't follow you into the one I'm opening now. And that's not a sign of disloyalty, it's a sign of expansion. I am not leaving you with pieces that no longer fit. I'm introducing divine replacements. You've been asking me why certain connections faded, why certain conversations felt distant, why the familiar suddenly became uncomfortable, and now you know. I've been slowly loosening your grip on what no longer serves your destiny so I could release what does. I'm not subtracting. I'm preparing you to receive the new. And not just any new, my kind of new. The kind that doesn't confuse or distract, but lifts and aligns. I am sending people into your life who don't just see your potential, they respect your purpose. People who are not intimidated by your calling but are assigned to help you carry it. These aren't replacements to fill a void. They are divine appointments to help steward the next thing I'm building in and through you. You'll know them by the peace they bring, by the way your spirit recognizes theirs, by how they speak into your future instead of tying you to your past. I am assembling people who walk in wisdom and carry fire. People who pray without needing a platform. People who protect your name when you're not in the room. People who challenge your growth without questioning your worth. This is not friendship for comfort, this is connection for legacy. You were never meant to build this next season alone. And I will not allow you to. I'm surrounding you with those who are called to go the distance, not just watch from a distance. And along with new people, I'm releasing new paths. You've stood at many crossroads lately, wondering which step is next, feeling the weight of responsibility on your shoulders. But I am removing the confusion. I'm making a way where there wasn't one before. I'm laying down tracks in terrain that seemed impossible to cross. You don't need to force your way through this, I've already mapped it out. The doors that are about to open will not require compromise. The opportunities that come to your doorstep will carry confirmation. This is not the time for trial and error, it's the time for precision. I'm guiding you by my voice, not your fear. I'm not waiting for you to figure it out. I'm going ahead of you, clearing the way, preparing the ground, and inviting you to walk forward with confidence, not anxiety. You'll find yourself taking steps you once doubted you could. You'll walk in rooms you didn't think you belonged in. Not because you changed overnight, but because I've given you new strength. Strength not born from effort, but from encounter. Strength that doesn't come from how long you've been trying, but from how closely you've stayed with me. The strength I'm giving you now isn't rooted in striving. It's anchored in assurance. You won't collapse under this weight. You'll rise under it. I've fortified your spirit. I've rebuilt your resolve. I've taken the ashes of fatigue and turned them into fuel. You are not weak. You are not behind. You are not alone. You are chosen for this very moment. And what I'm starting through you, no opposition, no delay, no human interference will be able to interrupt. This is a work of heaven. And heaven doesn't start what it won't finish. I have placed something in you that carries forward motion, and no resistance can reverse it. But once stalled is now gaining supernatural traction. So don't mourn what walked away. Don't grieve the chapter I've already closed. What I'm sending into your life now carries the momentum of my hand. And when I release that kind of movement, nothing can hold it back. Get ready. You're stepping into a rhythm you did create but were made to carry. And it won't be stopped. I've seen how tired your spirit has become from carrying the weight of what feels unfinished. You've stood in front of obstacles that looked too tall, too wide, too strong to pass. You've braced yourself for another round, another conflict, another season of surviving what feels like too much. But hear me now, and let these words settle into your soul. You are not stepping into a war, you are stepping into a win. This battle you've been bracing for has already been handled. Not by might, not by your effort, by my voice. I've already spoken into the atmosphere, and when I speak, the natural world must respond. What once stood against you no longer has authority to resist you. You don't need to raise your voice or your fists. You don't need to strive, scramble, or defend. I've already gone ahead of you. I've already dismantled what tried to rise against you. This is not a fight you're being called to finish, it's one I already declared finished before you even saw it form. I don't need your exhaustion, I need your obedience. All I'm asking now is that you move. Not in panic, not in fear, but in full confidence that I've cleared the path. I am leading you through territory that once belonged to your fear, but now belongs to your promise. There is no need to delay your steps wondering if it's safe. I have made it safe. There is no need to question whether you're strong enough to endure it. My strength is now your supply. The ground has been prepared. The opposition had been silenced. The resistance has been overruled. Now it's your turn to take territory by simply believing that it's yours. You don't have to earn this ground. I've already transferred ownership. This is the inheritance of the faithful. This is the reward of endurance. This is the moment where walking forward becomes an act of worship, not war. I've stripped the enemy of the power he once wielded over this area of your life. I've removed the fear that used to paralyze your forward motion. I've dealt with every hidden threat, every invisible force that was working against your peace. The outcome is no longer pending. It has been sealed. And I sealed it in victory, not defeat. You may not have seen the shift happen, but I assure you it's done. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was holy. I spoke, and the atmosphere obeyed. So now, stop rehearsing the strategy of warfare and start walking in the rhythm of trust. You're not being ambushed, you're being advanced. This next step isn't risky. It's ordained. It's been written into your story with divine ink. I want you to move forward knowing that angels have already been dispatched, that grace has already been multiplied, that peace has already been stationed ahead of you. This is a divine procession, not a battle charge. And as you go, you'll begin to notice the difference. The resistance you anticipated will not appear. The backlash you feared will not find you. The opposition you prepared for will fall silent. Because this time, you're not walking into a fight, you're walking through fulfillment. What once required weapons now only needs your faith. Let go of the survival tactics. You won't need them where I'm taking you. Drop the armor you wore to protect your heart. My presence is your shield now. Release the old rhythm of constant alertness. This is the hour of movement marked by peace. I'm leading you into manifestation, not more delay. Into completion, not conflict. Into territory that no longer belongs to darkness, but has been reclaimed by light. Your only job now is to believe what I've already declared. It is done. And because it is done, you are free to move without fear, free to walk without flinching, free to advance without apology. The victory has been spoken, now let your feet agree. Move forward. I'm already waiting for you on the other side. You've been faithful through long nights of not knowing. You've carried quiet exhaustion in your soul, not just from the battles themselves, but from the weight of not having resolution. You pray, then waited. Hope, then waited more. And in the stillness, even when your body moved forward, your spirit sometimes felt stuck. stuck between expectation and fulfillment, stuck between the past and the promise. I watched you push through with strength others didn't recognize. I saw you serve others while your own questions remained unanswered. And I say to you now, I am not only aware of the delay, I am bringing it to an end. Not by rushing what I've planned, but by releasing what you've been prepared to carry. You've asked me for rest, but the kind of rest I'm giving won't just come through sleep or distance, it will come through revelation. I'm not simply easing your weariness, I'm removing the mystery that caused it. I'm giving you clarity where you had confusion. I'm providing resolution where you had questions. I'm placing understanding where there was only hope. Because this kind of rest goes deeper than the surface. It reaches the core of the parts of you that have been quietly holding on while wondering if I was still listening. I never stopped listening. I never stopped working. But what I'm doing now is different. I'm not asking you to wait any longer for pieces to make sense. I'm beginning to speak with precision into what has lingered in shadow. You won't have to guess anymore. You won't have to interpret signs or try to read between the lines. I will speak in ways that calm the very places inside you that have been unsettled for too long. I'm not just answering prayers, I'm answering the ache beneath the prayers. I'm giving you wisdom that doesn't just instruct, it restores. You will feel rest not just in your body, but in your decisions. The tension that's been pulling at you will begin to dissolve. You'll feel the grip of uncertainty begin to loosen. And peace will return, not a temporary pause, but a lasting presence. This rest will mark your steps. You will move slower, but not because you're tired, because you're no longer striving. You'll speak with less urgency, not because you don't care, but because you're not trying to convince anyone or prove anything. I'm teaching your heart to breathe again, to let go of the pressure to figure everything out on your own. This is the reward of enduring seasons that didn't make sense, rest wrapped in answers. You'll begin to hear things from me that explain what silence could not. You'll walk into moments that confirm what you suspected but didn't have words for. I'm lifting the fog. I'm opening the sealed pages. And the narrative that once felt incomplete is now being finished with beauty and clarity. You'll remember the tension, but it will torment you anymore. Because the presence of answers will quiet what questions once stirred. The kind of rest I give is not shallow, it's rooted. It's deep enough to touch the places you've hidden. Strong enough to settle your doubts. Gentle enough to heal what was never spoken aloud. I'm not just bringing you into rest, I'm making rest your new rhythm. Not just for a day or a week, but for the season ahead. You will lead from peace. You will respond from fullness. You will walk in decisions that don't drain you, because they'll be born from answers, not anxiety. So exhale, my child. The season of striving for clarity is over. The weariness of waiting without direction is finished. And now, I release rest into you, rest that is anchored in truth, rest that is built on understanding, rest that restores more than sleep ever could. I see how long you've waited to hear something final, something real, something certain. So I speak it now. Here is your answer. It is time. Receive it and rest. What I've placed within you was never meant to remain hidden. You were not created to live in the background of history. You've been shaped in the secret place, but you were always intended to be seen for my reason, not for recognition. I am bringing your name forward, not to celebrate status, but to establish significance. Not because you need applause, but because I need your voice where influence reaches far. What I'm doing next in your life isn't about popularity. It's about positioning. I am placing your name on the lips of those in authority, not because you pursued status, but because you carry something heaven wants the world to witness. Your yes has activated a divine unveiling. Your surrender has made you trustworthy in rooms you never expected to enter. I've watched how you handled anonymity. I've seen your character tested when no spotlight was shining. And now, because you were faithful in the unseen, I am calling your name into visibility, not for exposure, but for impact. I will cause those in high places to hear of you, not to elevate your reputation, but to establish my agenda. because what I've placed in you must be delivered into environments that would otherwise never encounter me. You are a carrier of my voice. My presence is woven into your words. You've been trained in the hidden places so that your influence would not corrupt your purity. I stripped away pride before the platform ever came. I've removed the need to prove anything, because what you now carry is conviction, not ambition. That is why I can trust you with visibility. You won't use it for validation. You'll use it for victory, my victory. You'll step into opportunities that seem too large, but you won't be intimidated, because you'll know who sent you. You will carry my name higher than your own. And because of that, I will give you access that cannot be explained by natural means. You won't have to campaign for doors to open. You won't have to chase influence. It will find you not because you sought it, but because it is required for what I've assigned you to do. The tables I'm bringing you to were not designed to impress you. They were prepared for my voice to sit down in the middle of places that have grown cold to truth. You will not walk in as one seeking approval. You will walk in as one sent to shift atmospheres. Your presence will carry peace that disarms resistance. Your words will carry weight that outlasts noise. This is why I took you through the quiet seasons to anchor you so deeply in me that public moments don't shake you. Now I will lift your name, not to make you greater, but to show what I can do with a yielded life. Don't shrink when the invitations come. Don't question whether you belong in places you never imagined. If I've sent you there, it's because I've prepared both the place and the people to receive what's inside you. You don't need to fear being misread. I will give you language that speaks directly into hearts. You don't need to worry about being misunderstood. I will cover your reputation while you focus on your assignment. This is not about branding, it's about obedience. I'm raising you up, not to build a platform, but to become one. A platform where others can stand, where truth can land, where healing can flow. Because when I lift someone, it's never for ego, it's always for eternal purpose. And what I'm doing through you will ripple into lives you may never meet but will always impact. So prepare yourself not by striving, but by remaining surrender. Stay low in heart, even when I take you high in influence. Stay grounded in intimacy, even when visibility increases. Keep me first and I will keep you steady. This is my doing. I am lifting your name not for lights, not for fame, but because I have chosen to make you a living invitation for the world to come closer to me. And I will not let your name be lifted unless it also lifts mine. That is why you can walk forward boldly, knowing every door that opens now is holy. You thought no one noticed when you stayed consistent in places that felt small. When you showed up, gave your best, honored your commitments, and chose integrity even when it would have been easier to take shortcuts, I saw it all. The world overlooks quiet obedience, but I never do. Every hidden act of honor, every unseen sacrifice, every moment you kept your word when there was no applause, it was sacred to me. You didn't serve for recognition, you served because it was right. You didn't give to be noticed, you gave because you trusted. And now, because of your faithfulness in what others considered insignificant, I am calling you into something greater, something far beyond what you ever dared to hope for. You were being tested not by difficulty alone, but by consistency. Could you be excellent when it felt like no one was watching? Could you carry joy in places that looked ordinary? Could you steward what was small like it was precious? You did. And in doing so, you passed the kind of tests that most overlook. I didn't require perfection, I loved for posture. And your heart was steady. Your hands were faithful. You poured yourself out with pure motives, and now I am pouring back into you with overflow. You didn't wait to be promoted to do things well, you made your current place holy. You sanctified the mundane with your faith. You elevated the unnoticed with your honor. You sowed seed after seed when it would have been easy to hold back. And now, harvest is coming. Not because you demanded it, but because you prepared for it. This is the principle of my kingdom. What is done in secret will always lead to elevation in the right time. You weren't disqualified for being in the background, you were being qualified by being in the background. I don't promote based on popularity, I promote based on trust. And I trust you with more because you respected what was less. I'm handing you keys now that others tried to gain through striving, but you gained them through submission. Doors are opening because you've proven that you won't exploit what I give. You will protect it. You will serve it. You will treat it with the same reverence you treated the little I first entrusted to you. You will begin to see divine multiplication in areas that once seemed stagnant. Resources, relationships, influence, understanding, it will all begin to expand. Not chaotically but gracefully. Not in a rush but in a rhythm. You will carry more without carrying more weight. Because you've developed the spiritual muscle to carry purpose without collapsing. That strength didn't come from one moment, it came from thousands of small, faithful ones. I am about to reward what was done with no audience. I'm about to honor the hours you stayed up just to finish what no one else cared about. The time you gave when you had little left. The prayers you prayed when your heart was heavy. The generosity you extended when you had needs of your own. All of it counted. All of it mattered. And now, the increase will match the integrity. The enlargement will match the endurance. The favor will match the foundation. You don't need to question whether you're ready. The process was the preparation. You are stepping into more, not by accident, but by alignment. This is not luck. This is legacy. This is the result of faithful obedience turning into fulfilled assignment. And as I expand your reach, your heart will remain rooted. You won't forget where you came from, because you never despised it. You honored it, and now it will honor you. Promotion is not the reward, it's the platform for a new level of purpose. And I can trust you with it. Not because you know everything, but because you never stopped walking with me through everything. Keep that same posture. Keep that same humility. The more I give you, the more I want you to lean on me. This is the fruit of faithfulness. And this is only the beginning. Because those who steward little with reverence will always be trusted with much. You never craved recognition, yet I am about to make your name known, not because you wanted fame, but because you stayed faithful when nobody was watching. You served behind the curtain while others rushed to stand on the stage. You didn't manipulate moments or force open doors. You waited. You trusted. You stayed when you could have walked away. You honored me in the quiet places, in the ordinary routines, in the lonely corners of life where nobody clapped for your sacrifice. And now, because you refused to chase attention, I will surround you with favor that cannot be earned or manufactured. That is coming from above, not from men. This is how I reward those who surrender the need to be seen. You didn't advertise your tears, yet I counted everyone. You didn't broadcast your obedience, yet I wrote down every step. You didn't decorate your pain to get sympathy, but instead, you came to me in silence, and that humility has created a sound in heaven louder than thunder. Your restraint did not go unnoticed. When you could have shouted your own story, you whispered it to me. When you could have climbed the ladder of influence through compromise, you chose character over elevation. When you could have used manipulation to speed up the process, you chose to let me write the pace. And now the moment has come, not for your glory, but for mine through you. I am about to lift you not for applause, but for assignment. The spotlight you refuse to chase will now chase you not as a trap, but as a torch. Because what I'm igniting in you will be a fire that draws others out of darkness. Your voice will not be loud for ego, it will be loud for truth. Your presence will not be celebrated for performance, it will be valued for its authenticity. This is not about celebrity, it's about calling. I'm giving you visibility not so you can be admired, but so you can carry my message further. This is kingdom elevation, where hearts that stayed hidden are suddenly entrusted with reach. You didn't skip the steps. You didn't jump the line. You didn't trample others to get ahead. Instead, you waited with reverence. And that wait refined you. It purified your motives. It exposed what was unstable and replaced it with unshakable trust. So now, as I bring you into the light, you will not crumble under its heat. You will shine without burning out. Because you didn't build your platform, I did. And what I build, no man can tear down. People will look at you and wonder how it happened so suddenly. But you'll know the truth, it wasn't sudden. It was sacred. It wasn't quick. It was quiet growth over time. You were becoming while others were broadcasting. You were listening when others were shouting. You were surrendering when others were striving. And that is why you're ready. The foundation I've laid in you is deeper than what they see. As that bus is anointed. You don't need their permission to be used. I already chose you. I already prepared the stage. I already positioned you where my glory will speak loudest through your life. And I want you to remember this when the lights turn on and people start noticing you. Don't shift your eyes from me. I didn't bring you here to make you a brand. I brought you here to keep you a bridge away for others to walk into my presence. Stay small in your own eyes. Keep seeking me the same way you did when no one knew your name. Keep worshiping like you did in the shadows. That posture is your protection. That intimacy is your shield. The higher I lift you, the lower I want your heart to kneel. You didn't chase the light, but now the light will chase you. Because I found someone who won't use it to shine on themselves but to reflect me. There were weights on your shoulders that didn't belong there, expectations that came from people, responsibilities you took on out of guilt, pressures you accepted in silence just to keep the peace. You carried wounds disguised as duties, and stress hidden under your smile. You told yourself you had to be the strong one for everyone else, so you pushed your own needs down, buried your cries in the quiet, and pretended to be okay while feeling like you were collapsing inside. But I watched as you bent beneath the weight of demands no one understood. I heard the unspoken help me you whispered into your pillow at night. And now, I'm responding with something deeper than rescue. I'm stepping in to reset your soul, to reorder your life, and to lift what was never yours to hold in the first place. You were never meant to be the fixer of every problem. You were not assigned to carry the emotional load of those who refuse to lay their pain at my feet. You were not created to be everyone's solution. That role belongs to me. And while your intentions were noble, your exhaustion became a warning sign not of weakness but of misalignment. I never asked you to drain yourself to prove your love. I asked you to stay connected to mine. But somewhere along the way, you forgot that your worth is not in how much you give, it's in who you belong to. So now, with gentleness, I am peeling away every false obligation, every invisible chain, every lie that said you had to earn peace by carrying chaos. I'm giving you permission to release the roles that were assigned by pain, not purpose. You don't have to explain why you're stepping back. You don't need to justify why you're choosing stillness over busyness. This is your healing hour. And in this hour, I'm going to teach you how to breathe again, how to exist without feeling guilty for resting, how to say no without shame, how to let go without feeling like you're abandoning people. I'm restoring the balance that burnout stole. I'm reintroducing you to boundaries that protect your heart, not imprison it. And as you lay these unnecessary burdens down, you'll find your strength returning, not the strength to keep running, but the strength to finally stand without strain. You'll discover that peace is not something you have to chase, it's something I freely give when you sit with me, not strive for me. You'll feel the difference between carrying purpose and carrying pressure. And in that freedom, you'll hear my voice louder than you've heard it in years. The fog will lift. The heaviness will break. You'll begin to dream again, not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer drowning under what was never yours. Watch how I restore your energy. Watch how I increase your clarity. Watch how your joy begins to rise, not from circumstances changing, but because you stopped trying to be everything for everyone and allowed me to be everything for you. You were never supposed to hold it all together. That's my job. You were only meant to hold on to me. And I'm still here. Still patient. Still waiting to lift it all if you'll let go. You don't need to carry what I died to remove. Let me do what only I can do. This is the exchange I offer. Your exhaustion for my empowerment. Your tension for my tranquility. Your fear of letting go for the comfort of knowing I never will. I'm not disappointed in you for being tired. I'm proud of you for surviving as long as you did under that weight. But now, it's time to live, not just survive. It's time to walk light, walk free, walk with me again. You've endured enough whispering behind your back, enough rolled eyes, enough polite smiles masking hidden contempt. You've seen people underestimate you, label you based on your past, define you by your lowest seasons. You felt the sting of being left out, of being overlooked even after giving your best. The very ones you cheered for when they rose didn't turn around to lift you when you stumbled. But I took note. I've watched every moment when your name was misused, your efforts dismissed, your heart questioned. And I want you to know none of it was wasted. Not a single tear. Not one act of obedience done in secret. Not the nights you stayed up praying instead of retaliating. I've been storing every quiet sacrifice in heaven's vault, and what's coming next will make it all make sense. I've been preparing a scene, a divine unveiling where I will bring forth the truth about who you really are. And when I do, no argument, no lie, no manipulation will stand against it. This moment I'm designing for you won't be about revenge. It won't be about proving anyone wrong. It will be about revealing what I've been building inside of you when no one was paying attention. You see, I've been developing a version of you that couldn't be shaped by applause or crushed by rejection. I've been teaching you how to find value in my voice above all others, so when I elevate you, you won't be swayed by popularity or destroyed by criticism. I'm going to highlight you not to impress people but to express the fullness of my glory through your yielded life. It's not a promotion that's coming, it's a presentation. And in that moment, the same ones who mocked your dreams will witness your becoming. They will see how I preserved you when it felt like everything was falling apart. They will see how you never compromised even when it was easier to blend in. They will see how you chose compassion over control, surrender over stubbornness. And their words will fall silent, not because of your pride but because of my power. This is not about proving worth, this is about me unveiling destiny. I've been sharpening your discernment, strengthening your character, preparing your environment so that when the hour comes, you won't shrink from it, you'll step fully into it. And when you walk through those doors I've kept sealed until now, it won't be by chance, it will be because I personally opened them. I will place you where no favoritism could have taken you and no politics could have protected you. I will make it known that it was I who carried you, not connections. I who lifted you, not qualifications. I who called you, not convenience. And those who doubted will be left with no explanation, but grace. But I don't want you to gloat. I don't want you to gloat. I want you to bless. When they ask how you got there, point to me. When they wonder how you made it after all you've been through, tell them about my mercy. When they question why doors opened for you, remind them that I use the ones who remain faithful in obscurity. Your story will not only silence the critics, it will awaken the sleeping. Many who wrote you off will want to write their own chapters again. Many who stopped hoping will remember their promises. And I'll use your testimony to breathe life into dry bones. So stay low, even as I raise you up. Stay humble, even as the spotlight finds you. Stay rooted, even as the winds of favor blow strong. Because this isn't your reward, it's your assignment. And it's just beginning. I'm not done showing the world what I can do through someone who refused to give up. I'm not finished rewriting the narrative they tried to place on you. And I promised, what's ahead will erase the pain of being misunderstood. The season of being unseen is ending. The unveiling begins now. And every tongue that rose against you shall fall quiet, not by force, but by the undeniable evidence of my hand upon your life. Amen.